Hi everyone, welcome to another Terrain Direct video. This is going to be the Mordheim project, so this is the actual introduction. I'm actually recording this video after I've actually recorded most of the footage for the first segment. Lots of footage been filmed, minimised it right the way down, so they'll slowly be starting to appear. So I thought I would start off in this video actually explaining a little bit about Mordheim and what it actually is. So this is what it's actually all going to be about. This is the actual rulebook for Mordheim. It's quite an old game. I can't remember the year it was released. 1999. That's when the book was published. So, quite an old game. It's going to be primarily all about terrain. So what I'm actually going to take you through is I'm going to take you through my whole journey in creating all my terrain for Mordheim, along with a lot of other added extras as well. So what I'll basically jump straight into is in the first part, what I'm going to actually be talking about is another video that I haven't recorded yet, but I'll be recording after this, and that'll be like the basic principles of terrain making. I've covered this before, but I thought because it's been a new project, I'll cover it again. So what I actually thought I'd just show you first is a prototype building that I built some time ago. So this isn't going to actually be used in any of the videos, or hasn't been used in any of the videos. This is just like a prototype that I did a long time ago, and it's actually unsuitable for use for what I actually wanted it for. So using like Herstart's molds roofing pack, I actually created like a whole roof, but the problem with it is because it's foam core, this is very light, and the roof, because it's actually Herculite stone, it's very heavy. And to have this piece on a battlefield after it had all been done in like plaster, basically, the terrain would just be far too heavy. But it gave me the basic principle of how everything should work. So later on in another series, I'm going to actually experiment by turning this into resin. There's a completely different roofing system that I am going to use, which is something that I got a while ago, which was like laser cut card, and it was a roofing shingle set which I made a mould out of, and I was able to cast that in resin, so it's very thin. It was very flexible, very easy to use. I was really happy with the way that everything came out. I bought like 3 different sets of it, so I could basically, not every building's going to actually look the same, whereas I only actually have one of the roof moulds in the Herstart's, so I didn't want them all to look exactly the same. So basically what I'll do is, somewhere round about now, is I'll put up a actual picture of the map of Mordheim. So somewhere maybe there, that should be now a map of all the buildings and stuff. So I'm just going to concentrate on one little area just up here. And in that, what I'm actually going to do is build that section of the city. Obviously there's going to be loads of different generic buildings, but there's, if you actually see just in the map again, there's actually like one iconic building, there may be actually 2 iconic buildings depending on where it is that I'm actually doing, and over time hopefully I'll basically build that. But the generic buildings can be reused for each section of the map. So that's something that I wanted to explore, so I didn't have to build like 500 buildings or 600 buildings. I could basically, because obviously a battlefield can only take so much terrain, because most of the battles that I play in Mordheim are 4 foot by 4 foot, sometimes they're even smaller, sometimes they're actually only 3 foot by 3 foot, and even still you're not using the actual whole area of that table. So yeah, I can reuse all the outer buildings, all the generic buildings, which I'm calling them, but I'm actually going to make one feature building which is actually part of that city. So what I'd also thought I'd do as well is I'd actually show you some of the miniatures that you can actually get. I'll hold up the box. This is my dwarf treasure hunters. They're brand new. I've had these for a good few years now. So, but one thing I've never done is I've never even taken them out of the box. But during these videos I will actually be doing a little bit of going through the models as well. And the models are not 100% fantastic, but I really like them. That's pretty much all said. Let's see if we can get a nice clear picture of one of these, if it's actually going to show. I really like them. I think they're quite quirky. So yeah. And there's tons of other stuff, like there's tons of equipment that you actually get in with these, which is another great feature that I really like about the Mordheim set, and I'll just go through what you actually get with them. It's one really cool feature because you can actually get tons of stuff, and I know that's not going to show too well because of the way that I'm doing it, but maybe in a future video I'll actually go through them. But yeah, you can see some of the different options, so you can pretty much individualise every character that you want to have. And as you can see, so much different stuff. Some of it's the same, and that I'm not too fussed about, because in your warband you're only, I think it's like only between 6 and 8 miniatures that you actually need, unless you're having a very big warband. And in this one you actually get 8 miniatures, and you get enough for, I think it's to individualise it, about 20. So that's all cool. There's loads of other warbands, which we'll be doing a section on warbands. It will not be heavily focused on warbands, obviously, because we're doing everything about terrain. And then maybe right at the very end we'll do a little game of this and see how it all pans out on the new battlefield and the new terrain set. The other reason why I never recorded the introduction before I started recording the actual main segment was because there was other options that I wanted to explore, which I didn't know how to do at the time, but now I do. I've now basically worked out how to do them. So what I'm also going to be doing is I'm also going to be making my own terrain board. So yeah, it's going to be a modular terrain set which can be used for Warhammer or Mordheim. So I've got plans up in my head for that one, which you'll get to see, and I'll focus that one again because that will be part of my Mordheim set. There is going to be a Mordheim watch me work sort of segment as well, which I'm going to be doing a Google Hangout. So what I'll do is basically webcam will be down on the bench with me working, and I'll try and explain everything as I do everything. I'm not ready for doing that just yet, but it will be coming soon. I'll hopefully be doing that on a Saturday or a Sunday. The reason being is most people are off work over them. So when I get a day off over a weekend, I'll basically do that over a weekend, and so I can have questions and answers, which I can be answering as I'm actually working, and you can actually see how I go about doing things and how, when I'm challenged with something, how I work around it. So prepare yourself that not everything's that easy. I'm not a master of anything like that. I just try and problem solve as I'm actually doing it. There's hundreds of planning that's gone into this. There is a planning segment which will be coming. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I wanted to cover in this actual video. So stay tuned guys, because the Mordheim set is coming. Take care guys, bye for now.